The Phantom Killer, the Texarkana Moonlight Murders. The year was 1946. The small town of Texarkana, straddling the Texas-Arkansas border, was about to become the hunting ground for a faceless nightmare. Young couples, eager for a quiet escape, would park on secluded roads, unaware that their moments of intimacy would soon turn into blood-chilling horror. Under the cover of darkness, a masked man emerged, silent, calculated, and merciless. The media soon dubbed him the Phantom Killer, and for 10 terrifying weeks, he turned Texarkana into a town frozen with fear. The first attack came on a cold February night. A young couple, Jimmy Hollis and Mary Jean Larry, were parked on a lover's lane when a tall figure approached their car. A white mask concealed his face, only 2 dark eyeholes revealing the abyss behind them. Without warning, the intruder smashed Jimmy's skull with a blunt object, then turned his attention to Mary Jean. She was ordered to flee, only to be caught moments later and brutalized. By some miracle, both survived, but their testimony painted a horrifying image of a predator who had only just begun his reign of terror. A month later, another couple, Richard Griffin and Polly Ann Moore, were found dead, executed inside their vehicle. This time, there were no survivors. Killer's methods became crueler, more decisive. He was evolving. Then, on April 14, 1946, in a quiet spot near Spring Lake Park, the Phantom struck again. Paul Martin and Betty Jo Booker, a teenage couple, vanished after attending a party. The next morning, their bodies were found. Paul shot 4 times, Betty Jo shot twice and left 5 miles away from his corpse. The town's heartbeat quickened as the realization settled in. This wasn't a random act of violence. This was a game. And the killer was far from done playing. By now, fear had sunk its teeth into Texarkana. As night fell, the streets emptied. Windows were locked. Guns were kept within arm's reach. Police, overwhelmed and desperate, implemented curfews and urged residents to remain indoors after dark. But the Phantom wasn't finished. On May 3, 1946, Virgil Starks, a farmer, was shot through the window of his own home. His wife, Katie, ran to call for help only to be shot twice in the face. Miraculously, she survived, managing to escape the house and stumble to a neighbor's for assistance. This attack was different. It wasn't a lover's lane slaughter. It was a statement. The Phantom had no boundaries. Despite the massive manhunt, the police were left grasping at shadows. Several suspects were questioned, including Yowell Swinney, a petty criminal whose wife allegedly implicated him in the murders before refusing to testify. With no concrete evidence, the case eventually grew cold. And just as suddenly as the killings started, they stopped. The Phantom vanished, leaving behind only fear and unanswered questions. Had he moved on to another hunting ground? Had he blended into society, living out his days as an ordinary man with an extraordinary secret? Or had justice come in silence, a fate unknown to the world? One thing remains certain. The Phantom Killer's name was never written in the records of captured criminals. His identity remains a whisper in the dark, and his legend continues to haunt Texarkana to this very day.